Good evening, everyone. Time for another silver update. This is a silver Dow cross daily chart provided by netdania.com. You can click on the link below. You can see here the 2011 top in silver at nearly 50. That was when we crossed above the Dow. Really only a brief moment in time here, and then a little bit later during 2011. But now you can see that we still have this rising trend line on the Dow. The Dow is close to making new highs, near 14,000. You can see we still have a downtrend line from that same point in silver, and you can see this very, very large difference between the Dow and silver. If silver, according to this overlay chart, of course there are relative charts as well, so this is just one piece of information. But if silver were trading equivalent to the Dow, then of course we're going to be up near that $48, $50 price. So based on this chart, silver is still quite undervalued compared to the paper printing, the money printing that's going on. Of course, the Federal Reserve is channeling a lot of that money into paper assets, specifically stocks, but also bonds. And will we get a crash in the paper assets? We could. You can see when we did, we had a crash in silver, and then that was followed by a crash here in the paper Dow price, but then the Dow started to rally. So the big question is going to be, are they going to try to push the stock market into new highs? I think if that happens, then we may be looking at an explosive reaction with the price of silver. Then again, if they crash the paper markets, which there's a chance they might do, to try to bring in their 401k seizure and retirement plans, then what is the price of silver and gold going to do if that happens? So big question, but interesting chart. One of the largest divergences we've seen between the price of silver and the Dow Jones Industrial. So let's go over to a question of the night. This is from I Like AG. Brother John, I was just reading the article by Antal Fekete about how the Chinese are secretly holding vast quantities of silver and are actually behind the silver price manipulation. As he points out, probably every peasant in China has some silver stashed away. What to say of the Chinese government itself? What do you think about this? Could the Chinese flood the market with silver if it was in their interest to do so? Good question. No, I don't think the Chinese could flood the market with silver because I don't think the Chinese really have that much silver. And certainly it would not be in their interest to do so. You have to remember that the Chinese are the primary manufacturers now of the modern electronic devices and all the devices that use silver. So it would be in their interest to stockpile as much silver as they possibly could. Now, I don't think they really can stockpile that much silver because a lot of that silver has to go right back out the door in those electronic products that they're manufacturing. But it's definitely in their interest to try to stockpile as much as they can. Now, if you look at the Chinese Forex exchange reserves, I don't think we really know. I don't think anyone really knows what the true numbers are from China, but we're talking trillions of dollars. And if you had $1 trillion worth of silver, you're talking about something like 30 billion ounces. And we know that there's nowhere near that amount of silver above ground at this point. So I think the Chinese are stockpiling gold. I think they would love to stockpile silver, but I just don't think that it's possible. Are they behind the price suppression? I go back and forth on that question. I think it's definitely in their interest to suppress the price of silver if they're trying to pull physical silver off the LBMA and the COMEX and keep the price down on themselves. It's definitely in their interest to do so. But what is their connection between the Western bankers and the silver manipulators on the COMEX? I really don't know the answer to that question. So that is anybody's guess. Now, I wanted to take you over to a very important story This is headline on the blog, and this is about King World News. I received a notification that my site, and I know that SGT Report site as well, was listed as a attack site by Google, and that was because apparently King World News had been hacked. So I was forced to take down links to King World News. I sent an email to Eric King, and this is the response I got. I'm sure many others got it. So this is a statement by Eric King about what happened. Statement by Eric King on behalf of King World News. Saturday, February 9th, 2013. Powerful entities do not want our global audience to have access to the material that King World News provides. Each time King World News releases an interview from certain key sources, our internet site is attacked. This is the war that King World News has been fighting behind the scenes on the internet. At this time, I have decided to break my silence on this subject because of concerns that the latest events could be part of a much broader effort to suppress content on the internet. The internet must remain a place for free speech and free inquiry. Let's hope it stays that way. King World News is protected by the top company in the world in this area, and they now have us online with no malware and no problems. If you've been to the King World News internet site in the past 48 hours, please erase the cookies and cache in your internet browser and start fresh. We have incredible interviews with Eric Sprott and Art Cashin on King World News this weekend. From all of us at King World News, we would like to thank our readers and listeners for their patience and the many internet sites around the world that reached out to assist King World News. With your help, we fight on. So, fascinating story, but this is not a new thing for King World News. In fact, let me take you over to the Wikipedia. It's really quite an eye-opener on this, so I'm going to read the whole thing to you. King World News is a web portal that produces radio-like interviews and information about financial topics, especially the precious metals markets. Created by financial writer Eric King, the site presents interviews with individuals and weekly wrap-ups about the financial sector. The website also posts written information related to its interviews. After King posted an interview with London Bullion Market Association trader and whistleblower Andrew Maguire on April 30th, 2010, the site was the victim of a distributed denial of service attack, bringing the site down for a period of time. Eric King created King World News in 2009 to fill a void he saw in mainstream journalism's lack of coverage of essential information about financial markets. Each week, King conducts audio-only interviews with important people from business and finance. King World News has interviewed Eric Sprott, Lord Christopher Monckton, Robert Arnott, Chris Whalen, James Rickards, James Turk, Jean-Marie Evelard, Rick Santilli, Mark Faber, Bernie Madoff whistleblower Harry Markopoulos, Art Cashin, Director of Floor Operations for UBS Financial Services and a stock market commentator for CNBC, presents a weekly market wrap-up. Eric King presents a weekly precious metals wrap-up. On March 30th, 2010, King posted an interview with Andrew Maguire and Adrian Douglas about Maguire's allegations about alleged fraud in the silver market. It was the first interview given by Maguire, who had informed the U.S. Commodity Futures Trading Commission about market manipulation in the silver market. He was not invited to speak at the CFTC hearing on March 25, 2010, and so he went public with this information. Maguire's allegations were presented at the hearing by Bill Murphy, and the next day Maguire and his wife were the victims of a hit-and-run accident in London, England. Maguire and his wife were released from the hospital with minor injuries the next day. Several media interviews were lined up, but following the hearing and the accident, all were abruptly canceled, leaving King World News to have the first interview with Maguire. The King World News website was brought down by a distributed denial service attack after King posted the interview with Maguire and Douglas. Days after posting the interview with Maguire and Douglas, King posted a second interview with Douglas, accompanied by Harvey Organ and his son Lenny. Lenny Organ spoke of his visit to the only bullion bank in Canada, which he requested because he wanted to see that it actually contained the gold and silver said to be there. He was let inside and was shocked at how little gold and silver was there. He was able to estimate how much he saw because of the orderly way it was stacked, and Douglas estimated the amount to be approximately $100 million worth of gold, just 1/10 of the $1 billion sold by the Royal Canadian Mint in 2008. So that's the Wikipedia story on King World News, and that's fascinating because they actually talk about the attacks against the website and Andrew Maguire and the stuff that happened with that. So yes, there is a very serious effort to suppress this information. Fortunately, Eric King has brought the site back up, and so it's time to take it back and renew the fight against the banksters. So on that note, I wanted to cover the Freedom Girl coin by Chris Duane. Chris has taken a lot of heat, and I just can't say enough about this guy. First of all, that's a great coin. I mean, I don't know how you can say you might disagree with his trivium philosophy, and you might not like some of the symbolism, but you've got to admit that that is a fantastic round. I think that Chris Duane is breaking new ground here. Now, the other coins that he minted earlier, or I should say medallions, not coins, he did earlier, are selling at a substantial premium in the aftermarket. I think this coin's going to do that as well. You can see here there's 29,000 of these coins, so this is not a small deal. I don't know how he obtained his capitalization. A lot of the people who are criticizing him are saying that, well, he just melted down all his silver and sold it to people. So if Chris Duane managed to stack $1 million worth of silver before he started this coin, more power to him, but I don't think so. I think he probably had some financial backers or something to get all that silver and then produce all these medallions. But at 29,000, since he's announced that, that is a phenomenal effort. I think this supersedes any expectations of success probably anyone, including Chris, had, and it's just a wonderful thing. Here's a guy who is putting his money where his mouth is. I don't think Chris is divesting himself of silver. I think he's using this as an opportunity to draw attention to the silver story, bring more people in, and of course, with those premiums on eBay being what they are, that does mean that the message is getting out. And on that note, I wanted to bring up my channel, and I wanted to thank the people who have supported my channel. And you can see we're coming very close here to that 3 million video views, 11,000, almost 500 subscribers. And of course, the core message is going to be silver for the people, the fact that physical silver is the stake in the hearts of the financial vampires. Physical silver is the bullet that slays the Wall Street werewolves. So this is about taking the battle to the bankers, and we know that silver, physical silver, is the Achilles heel of these bankster crooks who are stealing all the money. Now, I wanted to take you over to a site that shows you the YouTube stats. This is on my channel, but it's the other channels box. So what this does is this shows you the other channels that I list on my channel. You can see those down here. If you scroll down under the other channels box, I've named that Silver Stacker. So I've listed SGT Report, Chris Duane's The Greatest Truth Never Told, Mike Maloney's Why Gold and Silver, my channel, Endless Mountain, Da Vinci, Street Money, etc. So now if you look at the stats on those other channels, you can see here that Social Blade gives you all the information about what's going on with those channels. You can see that SGT Bull is at the top here with 31,000 subscribers. And there's the daily amount added and the monthly. So he's adding nearly 1,000 a month in subs. Chris Duane is rapidly coming up behind him. He's got 26,000 subscribers. He added 87, and he's adding 2,300, nearly 2,400 subs a month. So clearly the message is getting out. Mike Maloney, he's adding 500 subs a month, and I'm adding 400 subs a month. So that's very good news for the message about silver. I try to list the other channels that are giving this silver message, and it seems to be that the message is getting out. So the main point I want to make about this is that it's not a time to back off and back down when the attacks come. This is more of a confirmation than anything else that we are correct, that the silver story is the story, and Eric King came under a cyber attack, but if you look at the Wikipedia article, you know that it was when Eric King broke the silver story with Andrew Maguire, that was when he came under a massive attack. So they're kind of showing their hand here. They're admitting that silver is the key to this whole game, and it's time to take it to them, just like Chris Duane is doing and what I'm trying to do. And we're going to see silver rally back and catch up with the paper, because obviously the paper really doesn't have any value. Silver has real value. As more and more people realize that, we're going to reach that critical turning point where there are enough silver stackers to turn the tide, and then they're going to be on the run. And we'll talk to you next time.